Robbie here from AFTV. We're standing in the heart of the Hong Kong Football Festival in the incredible Kai Tak Sports Park. This place is amazing. This stadium, by the way, is next level. There's plenty to experience here for everybody coming down. It's got room for 50,000 people in the stadium, which is absolutely incredible. And it's been built for athletes, fans, families, and even shoppers. They've got a whole mall, and inside their shops and much, much more. And we've got the Arsenal game happening tomorrow, the North London Derby. Cannot wait. Shout out going out to the Hong Kong Tourist Board for putting this on. This is going to be amazing.
Welcome back to AFTV, everyone. We are previewing the North London Derby, Arsenal's third game of this pre-season tour, and it's here in Hong Kong. This is the first ever North London Derby outside of England. It's going to be huge. You can see the stadium behind us, and we're going to tell you all about it. But Robbie, here we are in Hong Kong. I can't believe we're here.
Yeah, we're here in Hong Kong. Thankfully, the weather's improved. Since we've arrived, the weather's been absolutely atrocious. I think there's been a cyclone there, so it's been pretty serious. This morning, they had like a black weather warning, which means you have to stay in, can't come out. But thankfully, now it's clearing up, and it's a beautiful country. Really loving it here. This stadium, by the way, is really impressive. Brand new stadium, the Kai Tak Stadium, 55,000 seater. And like you said, going to have the North London Derby in here. It's going to be incredible. Looking forward to it. You
guys should check out the vlogs we're doing, because the Kai Tak Sports Complex basically has the stadium, hotels, malls. It's got almost like another arena, which is going to be used for training for some of the teams. You can actually see it from one of the pools up there. But Liverpool, I think, trained there early in the week. I think Tottenham or Arsenal will be there too.
Tottenham came out this morning to train. I can actually see the training ground from my room, right? And so they came out to train, but because of the weather, they had to abort their training. But I was going to do a bit of spying, pass the information on, see what formation they were training in and that. But it's
tell Arteta in the press conference. So they're going 4-4-2. We've looked at what Thomas Frank's doing. Robbie's got all the intel.
Low block. You know what? That's going to be interesting. What tactics do Tottenham have now? Because obviously under Big Ange, it was high press, all-out attack. Thomas Frank, as we know, at Brentford, has been traditionally more of a sort of defensive manager, isn't he? Although when he was in the Championship, he was quite attacking with Brentford. So what Thomas Frank are we going to see? What Tottenham are we going to see this season? It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I want to come to you, Lee, on that, because let's start with Tottenham. Thomas Frank, in his time at Brentford, what was it, 4 full seasons of the Premier League, I think? A real range of tactics, from back three with wing backs, 2 up top. He ended, I think, with a front three. He had Ivan Toney as a big man up top. Then he played something different when he went with Mbemo, Shada and Wissa up front. He's played a lot of different systems, sometimes on the ball out the back, sometimes more direct. So I don't really know what his plan is for Spurs long term. Do you think we'll get an early idea? For not, look, we don't care what Spurs are doing, but we need to know from a perspective of beating them.
Yeah, it's a great point, because I think what I like about him as a manager, he evolves around what he's doing and everything like that. And I think he's a very, very good manager.
He is.
I don't like him no more, if I'll be honest. But
he loved Arsenal, didn't he? He always used to say great things about us.
He did, and listen, it's like from Brentford to Tottenham is a slight step up, so well done on that.
It's just the worst, isn't he?
So, and I think that what Tottenham have done is they've got a manager that can look at situations, look at what teams are going to be playing, and then adapt, which I think is something that's been a bit critical of in the past, because Tottenham are not going to be able to dominate games every single week. So there are times when they're going to have to change, and I think he's probably the perfect person to do that. So it'd be interesting to see what they do. We're actually in here today when it's Tottenham Media Day, and there's a lot of Spurs fans around. It's not the greatest place to be at this moment in time. You come all the way out of Hong Kong and see Spurs fans, it's not good. But, I'm glad it's rained all day, maybe kept a few of them away. But, I think at the end of the day, look, listen, I don't know how you guys feel about this. Arsenal Spurs on here in Hong Kong is a bit of a mind blow for me, because, I'm sort of old school Arsenal Spurs. There's no such thing as a friendly. In my eyes, I don't think there is. What do we actually call this? A test or a friendly? What are we calling this? It's definitely not a friendly.
I think you raised the biggest point in all this. Now, there was a friendly 3-4 years ago. Do you remember when Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham? It was before. Do you remember they were playing? The 3 London clubs played against each other,
When was that? What was that?
That was summer 2021, because obviously the pandemic, no one could tour, but they wanted to get something more competitive. We went to Tottenham, we lost 1-0. I think Chelsea came to us and we lost 2-1 maybe.
Yeah, I remember that now. Remembered.
So we have had, and again, I remember at the time that didn't feel like a friendly. We lost 1-0. I remember it disappointed me. Normally most friendlies I can shrug it off. It's difficult because I don't have this like anxiety-inducing feeling of Tottenham this week, and normally there's that build-up.
No, it's completely different to when you've got a North London derby. You don't want to lose that. You're
Points
absolutely fearful.
Yeah.
For me, my big thing for this game is I just want to see Victor Gyökeres.
Yeah.
So if this game was being played in the UK, I don't care who's playing. I just want to make sure we win this game. Obviously, I want to win this game. It's the North London derby abroad. I want to win it just for pride, but the main thing I really, really want to see in this game is Victor Gyökeres. I want to see him in an Arsenal shirt. I want to see him get some minutes on that pitch, and I want to see what he can do. You know what I mean? Obviously he's very, very early in his. It's going to be the first time, hopefully, that he plays for Arsenal. But my main focus is on Victor Gyökeres for this game.
I hear Robbie, but I want to win. I know Robbie. I know you do too. I know Robbie does too. I know, but I think when the game approaches, do you know what it is, Lee? It's the fact they just won the Europa League. It's the fact we went another year without silverware, finished second. I know it's pre-season. I know it doesn't actually make any difference, but I think we've had 2 good games against AC Milan, a win and a clean sheet, beat Newcastle, and that was quite a feisty, competitive game. We're out here. I think a part of me is like, let's just try and. You can't flex that much in a friendly, but flex to a point of like showing the world we're prepped. Yeah. We're looking ready, because that's what beating Chelsea 4-0 in Orlando did for us. It told us the team are looking really sharp. And then we come back, we've got 2 games at the Emirates. I think that's what we need to do with this game.
Yeah, exactly that. Like, listen, this is a game like Arsenal Spurs when we play. I don't sleep. I'm very, very nervous for the game. Don't like the games. Different outlook from this point of view. But listen. Tottenham Hotspur at this moment in time, they're out of the box. They've come out of their box, you know what I mean, because of what they've done. And you have to give them their flowers for that and all that. Little chance to put them back in their box, realise who's the bigger and better team, like, and that's what we've got to do. And so there is a little bit on this. For me personally, there's some Arsenal fans out there that weren't too distressed that they beat Man United in that final. I'm not one of them. That was a bad day for me, like, what I mean. So, look, these are nice guys just walking past and all that, but they've got that shirt on and it irritates me. I'm going to be honest, it just irritates me.
Some Tottenham fans are walking.
Please with that. See, they irritate me. I can't help it, like, you know what I mean. But that's what it's. But I think that's great. That's what it should be.
Well, that's what football's about, and this is where. I was lucky enough to do media for the game against Newcastle, and I saw the fans around. Now, what's quite unique about these friendlies sometimes, Rob, is that Arsenal fans and Newcastle fans can sit amongst each other and together. They try and, to a degree, put the Newcastle fans and the Arsenal fans separately, but there'll be a lot of mixing the fans. But you watch the reactions from the fans who don't ever get to watch Arsenal anywhere near as frequently as us, or some of them never have. To them, it's not a friendly. This is, I'm watching my football club live. And there'll be fans coming here to Hong Kong, Arsenal, Tottenham, and they're going, this is the first and maybe only chance I'm going to get to watch Arsenal here in a North London derby. It is absolutely huge for them. And I think for that reason alone, there's got to be a competitive edge that Arsenal bring to this.
And I think, there will be a competitive edge. And I think the other thing that's going to be really interesting dynamic is the split inside the stadium. Because normally, and I've been following Arsenal on these pre-season friendlies now for a good 11, nearly 12 years, right? Normally Arsenal, everybody they play, literally they outnumber them. Like, the only team I've seen us play in pre-season where it's been an even split has been Man United. Well, we played them in America, and that weren't even last year. When we played them last year in LA, there was more Arsenal fans than United fans. But Man United, I've seen us have even split games with Real Madrid and Barcelona. This could be an even split game. Possibly, you could even, Lee was saying he thinks it could be more Tottenham fans there because of the influence of Son. in the Far East, and the amount of fans that Tottenham have in the Far East because of Son. You see, there's a fan just there walking past, he's got his Son T-shirt on, right? They could have a lot of fans there, right? It could be even a half. Could it be that they've got more? I don't know. Arsenal got a huge fan base in China. I know when I went to China, it was absolutely incredible, the amount of fans that Arsenal had. It's my first time in Hong Kong, which is right next door to China. So I think there'll be a massive Arsenal presence. But what's the split going to be like? That's going to be really interesting to see. We've seen a lot of Tottenham fans around today. It is their open training session and stuff like that. So that's going to make the game more feisty as well, and that's going to make the game more, you know, the other day when we played Newcastle, literally, you know, 95% of the stadium are Arsenal fans. So that's going to bring a new dynamic to it. But so it's going to be a competitive game. Obviously, it's a friendly. The thing that's always makes friendlies not as competitive is the amount of changes that happens throughout the game. And then, you know, in the second half, Arsenal will make a lot of changes. There's players that haven't, like Gabriel and that, will he play? You know, and as I said, for me, as much as it's a North London derby and everything like that, I want to see Victor Gyökeres. That's who I want to see. If he could come on, I get a feeling he won't start, but if he could come on and in a friendly get his first goal against Spurs, what will that do for him as a player?
Yeah, very true.
I'm telling you, like, this could be a very significant game for him. He scores against Spurs, win or lose, you score against Spurs, immediately Arsenal fans are like, he wanted to come here. He did everything he did to come to Arsenal. He binned off Man United and he scored against Spurs. I like this guy. You know what I mean? So I think it's probably a big game for him than everybody else.
Yeah, very, very true. We are going to talk about Gyökeres in more detail, guys. There will be a Predict 11 video out with Cecil in Turkish, so look out for that. Let's get score predictions for the first ever North London derby outside of England.
I think it'll be a draw, 2-2.
Okay.
I think it'd be a win. I think Arsenal so far on this tour, they've looked pretty sharp. They in the last game looked pretty sharp, apart from the keepers. Raya's the only player who ain't looked sharp. I mean, that goal he let in the other night against Newcastle, you know. But I do feel that the team itself, you know what I mean. There's been some really positive performances, especially by the youngsters. They've looked really, really good. And Max Dowman, as we know, I was really impressed with Odegaard the other night. He looked sharp.
Yeah, he did.
And I think the new signings are Zubimendi's really impressed me. Norgard did all right, you know what I mean. So, you know, I haven't really been paying a lot of close attention to what Spurs have been doing. Listen, Spurs are a good side. They had a lot of injuries last season. A lot of those players are back fit. New manager. Will be a competitive game. But I just fancy Arsenal. In the two friendlies that we've played, right, against two very good sides, we've really been on the front foot in both of those games. So I'm going to go for a high-scoring 3-2 Arsenal win.
I was going to go 4-2, and I think it'll be high scoring as well. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, people. Let us know your score predictions, and go check out the vlogs, all the content we're doing out here. Predict 11 will be out soon. Will Gyökeres start? We're going to discuss that, me, Turkish, and Cecil. So check that out on the channel as well. We'll see you very, very soon.